Tonight, 3 men are being held at the Sedgwick County Jail in connection with the plot to attack a western Kansas Muslim community. Those men, who claim to be part of a small militia group, said that they hope that their deadly attack would, quote, inspire other groups to wake people up. The disturbing announcement was made at the U.S. Attorney's office in downtown Wichita.
Many Kansans may find it as startling as I have that such things could happen here.
Acting U.S. Attorney Tom Beal gave details on the FBI's investigation that centers around these 3 men, Curtis Allen, Gavin Wright, and Patrick Stein. They were arrested today in their hometown of Liberal, accused of plotting an attack on an apartment complex known to house a small community of Somali refugees in Garden City.
These charges are based on 8 months of investigation by the FBI that is alleged to have taken the investigators deep into a hidden cause of hatred and violence.
According to investigators, the suspects, all in their 40s, were part of a small hate group calling itself the Crusaders, and they weren't afraid to express their anti-Muslim views on social media. These posts were from Curtis's Facebook page. FBI Special Agent in charge Eric Jackson didn't elaborate on how the men came to their attention, but said that the suspects were stockpiling weapons and their plans were imminent.
These individuals had desire, the means, and the capabilities, and were committed to carrying out this act of domestic terrorism.
According to the FBI, the men had planned to target churches, public officials, and landlords, anyone who tried to help or support the Somali Muslims. They finally decided on this apartment complex in Garden City, just 70 miles east of Liberal. Their plan was to park 4 vehicles filled with explosives at each corner of the apartment complex and simultaneously detonate the bombs, causing one large and deadly explosion. The date, November 9th, one day after the presidential election. Tonight, the men are being held in the Sedgwick County Jail. If found guilty on domestic terrorism charges, they could face life in federal prison. Those 3 men will be in federal court for their first appearance on Monday. Well, this isn't the first incident targeting Somali Muslims. Earlier this year, 2 Kansas men were charged with federal hate crimes. 31-year-old Omar Martinez and 24-year-old Armando Sotelo. Prosecutors say that they targeted and attacked 3 Somali men in Dodge City. Well, the Council on American-Islamic Relations today is asking for increased protection of mosques. Earlier this year, in 2016, they were on pace to record a number of attacks against mosques. Last year, a record 78 mosques were attacked. The FBI had a history of teaming up with Kansas authorities to thwart potential homegrown attacks in recent years. In April of 2015, John T. Booker of Topeka was arrested trying an explosives-filled van to an entrance gate over at Fort Riley. Booker and his accomplice, Alexander Blair, both pled guilty this year to charges stemming from that attack. And just 3 years ago, Terry Lohman of Wichita was arrested after trying to drive a van full of explosives onto a tarmac at Wichita's then Mid-Continental Airport. Lohman was sentenced to 20 years behind bars last year. He might be asking why Somali refugees are coming to the U.S. Well, in the past 2 decades, famine and war has raged in their homeland. Bombings and fighting is a constant in their country. In May, the Washington Post reported that U.S. slaughterhouses, like the ones in western Kansas, have become a leading place for employment for Somali workers. According to the U.S. Census, the poverty rate for Somalis in the U.S. is 57%. That's much higher than other nationalities. The meat packing plants usually start those workers around $13 to $14 an hour. It's one of the highest wages that they can earn.